Hello, this is Tyler C. This is a new podcast we're starting, and we're actually starting this podcast off with something really serious. Just imagine your house being burned down and everything that you know just being gone, like entire neighborhoods wiped out. Like it's pretty tragic what's going on in Australia right now. And on a slightly cheerier note, I do have a guest today, so if you could introduce yourself.
Hello, guys. My name is Jesus Contreras, and I work at the Pioneer.
So, yeah, that's great. He's basically just some office monkey that I dragged in. What do you do in the Pioneer?
Photographer / illustrator.
/ basically everything else now that you're on here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I remember you actually made the logo that we're going to have on for this podcast. So if anybody wants to hire him, he likes money.
That money, bro.
What are your just initial thoughts on what's going on in Australia right now, those fires?
So my initial thoughts on the Australian fires is like pretty devastating, actually.
Yeah.
Because it can actually happen anywhere, to be honest.
California?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Especially California.
I know a lot of people were comparing it to California, but I almost think that's unfair because I know it's a lot bigger than California. I'm not sure if this number is still accurate since the fire is still burning, but the last I heard it was like 10 times bigger.
Yeah, believe it or not, we can also get forest fires here in Washington.
Washington, okay.
Yeah.
I don't think I can recall any off the top of my head, but I definitely believe it.
Well, the thing that they do is they preset the fire, so no new fires can start.
Yeah, it's called pre-burning. I actually do know a little bit about that.
Yeah, so
just for the sake of our viewers, I actually am a volunteer firefighter, so I'm definitely not an expert yet, but I do have a loose idea of what I'm talking about when it comes to fire.
he's getting there.
I'm getting that. One day I'll be there. What about all that wildlife, like the massive amount of wildlife damage that's going on down there? Save the koalas.
Yo, like at the beginning of like when the whole thing started, maybe like a day or two later, like they actually announced that the koalas, like the species koala, they became endangered.
Oh, that's actually really sad. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Like it's just mind-boggling. And then like I just recently researched it again, but not on the koalas, but like Kangaroo Island recently got caught on fire too.
Oh yeah, and Kangaroo Island's like has a bunch of species that aren't anywhere else, like I think even by Australian standards.
Yeah, to be honest, like I don't. And then like the title was also like idiocracy of denialism on like climate change.
Yeah, it's
like if you believe someone started those fires, like you must be really sick to almost kill half of the population.
Well,
of the animals.
You heard one of them was, so it's actually more than one fire. It's not just one fire, right? And one of the people who started the fire, because there were a bunch of different causes for various different fires, was a volunteer firefighter that was committing arson. So,
what?
Yeah, that's really bad. I guess he just got bored and decided that he wanted something to do, and now all of Australia is very, very busy. So
now they're paying the price of one person being bored.
Yeah, one person being bored.
That's...
On the other hand, they don't have to deal with as many spiders, and I know that's also kind of an issue there.
Bro, I'm an arachnophobic, so...
I'm not too scared of spiders, but a spider bigger than my hand that's no thank you. Like, I'm not scared of it, but I also don't want to let it crawl on me, you know?
Any size spider. Well, not like a grain of rice size.
Like, those are fine?
Those are fine. But if they're like in numbers, like I recently saw a video where this spider was on the floor and this lady just... with a broom,
and then the babies came out.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Oh, and then another one was it was just a colony of spiders just on a wall, the corner, and so the lady thought it was just a bush of hair, and so she reached out. It was just nothing but spiders clumped up together.
Yeah. We recently, we as in the United States, sent a bunch of firefighters to Australia.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, like I think it was 150 was the last number I heard. It's really difficult to keep you all updated about this, especially over a podcast, because fire changes very rapidly. And,
due to the change in speed of the wind, right?
Well, it's the change in speed of the wind, whether or not it's going uphill, downhill, whether or not it's raining. So all of that affects the speed of the fire. So
I recently read that Australia just got like an insane thunderstorm.
The rain?
Yeah, like
Yeah, I heard about that too. I heard it's not even slowing the fire down.
no. So like, you would think because it's water,
Mm-hmm.
but like I guess it's not enough.
It's too dry. I know Australia it's going through, I think a drought's strong word because I don't know for sure if it's a drought, but I know it's definitely way hotter than it normally is in Australia.
Yeah.
And that definitely contributed to this. So also there's a lot of people in Australia that are really mad at their government for this. You know, there's a lot of coal industry and they think that the environment is a major contributor to this. And there's there's a lot of people talking about how wombats, is it called a wombat? Is that how you say it? Yeah. Who are actually like digging down and like leading animals into their holes so they can survive the flames. And a lot of people are saying that they're actually offering better leadership than their central government. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's a pretty big diss. It's the Prime Minister of Australia, right? They call it Prime Minister.
I think so. I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, their Prime Minister went on a vacation recently, and I know that was pretty controversial. A lot of people because it was during the fires.
My boy fleeing his own country.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. We also have Quintin in here, so if you hear any little Jimmer jabber, that's just him. He's more than welcome to speak if he has anything to say, but you know he's our tech support, as I've been his tech support in the past. So another interesting thing I really didn't expect out of this fire, or frankly any natural disaster or anything at all, is that there's been sex workers that apparently have been coming out to help with it. Yeah, you didn't hear about this? I found some weird stuff while researching about the fire, just weird things you wouldn't expect to be on there. And apparently the big one is there's sex workers that are selling their content for donations to Australia, right? So I guess that's not selling, right? It's just like you show them the receipt for certain different organizations that are supporting Australia. And Australia definitely needs it right now, right? Because, you know, in order to feed some of the wildlife, they've poured hundreds of thousands of, or I don't think it's hundreds of thousands, but it's definitely thousands of kilos of produce, like carrots and potatoes and stuff, to feed their wildlife. So,
can we name drop?
Name drop, yeah.
For the celebrities that donated.
Donated what?
Donated money to.
Oh yeah. That'd be great. That's key.
So you got Elton John. He pledged $1 million.
Whew.
Pink donated 500,000.
Like the band?
No, that person.
Oh, okay, my bad.
The singer.
But it's really great that all these people are coming together and really, like, all these celebrities.
I think it's fascinating that, like, when a country like Australia is having struggles, especially with what's going on, like, pools and pools of people, organizations, like, they just come together to come help. Like, I think I read, it was The Wire, I think. I'm not sure, but I heard a number, like 14 mil. And so they're distributing it across parts of Australia that are affected, that need it the most, like for food, water, and your necessities.
Necessities.
Yes, thank you.
It's all good.
But I think it's pretty cool that people can come together for one cause.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. And it's not even just like the countries like Australia too. It's everything, right? Like people are constantly donating to like poorer countries and like Africa, stuff like that. And then like even the United States, which is a very strong economy. Not to say that Australia isn't a strong economy, but the United States, like when a hurricane hits or something, like people from all over the world will donate. I don't know if it's true, but I heard a long time ago, has actually not much to do with this, that there was an African tribe that donated like a couple of cows to the United States after 9/11.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's interesting how people are really willing to like really go out of their way to help people that they've never met before. I know that there's a lot of people kind of criticizing billionaires right now about why they're not donating, and I think that's a difficult subject because
I think it varies because like you don't know what someone's going through. They really wanna, contribute, but they can't. But I think there's just a lot of stuff going on, and I think people just like to bring people down because they're like they have money and they see them do all these commercials like donate here, donate there, and like, why don't you do it?
Well, I mean, and there are a lot of like people who are actually doing it. Like, Bill Gates has donated.
So like,
who knows how much money to everything. So
I think people are just so quick to criticize without like properly doing the research.
I don't know anything about too many billionaires. Like, I don't actually know if they're donating or not. I think it'd be great if they do.
Yeah, I don't know any at the top of my head.
So I don't want to have a hard, fast opinion on that, because I don't want to say they're not donating and it turns out they already have donated millions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I know it's like super expensive. Like, I know a lot more about the fire service in the United States. There's this group called Smoke Jumpers, right? And they specifically fight wildfires, right? These guys are really awesome. But
the pros of the pros.
Yeah, the pros of the pros. One thing that's it's not the Smoke Jumpers that do it, but they have these fire bombers, right? And they have these in Australia too, right? And they can either drop chemicals or water. They can create fire lines, which are these lines that are meant to stop fire. That's for the chemicals. And then the water you just basically like put in an area you don't want the fire to spread, or put it on the flames just to try to cool it down or any of that, right?
Wow, that's pretty amazing.
They make fire lines with chemicals?
Yeah, so there's these there's a bunch of different kinds actually. There's this like these foams and stuff that they use like fire retardants, and then there's this red powder. I actually don't know anything about the chemicals. For all I know, they could be terrible for the environment. I have no idea, to be honest. But it's like this red powder. Yeah, you can Google it. It's like this red powder that they put down on it, and the fire won't go past that unless like wind carries a bunch of embers like way past it. I guess hypothetically it could spread past that, but I don't know too much about that subject. So.
I mean, I like science. I just don't know how to input it.
Well, I mean, nobody thinks we're like experts on this. We're not scientists, right? We're just a couple.
But I do think that's kind of cool that a line can hypothetically stop fires.
Yeah. The problem is it's like $60,000 a drop, so it's not cheap. Yeah.
You got 60 G's to spend?
I do not, I know for sure. But yeah, imagine every dollar you spend on putting out a fire or stopping the spread of a fire is a dollar you can't put to recovery. So I know it's a bit of a balancing act, right? Because the Australian economy is going to take a hit from this fire no matter what.
Oh, major hit.
Yeah. It's a really difficult situation for them to be in, because they need to put out the fire or they're going to be in a world of hurt. But if they just put literally every dollar, and I believe that's actually what they're doing right now. I think they're putting pretty much everything they can. They literally imported firefighters from other countries, and I doubt there's a firefighter out there that's taking a day off. I think everybody is on duty right now. So.
I think it's more or less like awake every day.
Yeah, I imagine. I know they had a firefighter die. A tree collapsed while he was fighting the fire and killed him.
Wow, dang.
Yeah, and I know they had a memorial for him.
That's crazy.
I don't even got much to say. I just want to ask you guys, like, 'cause maybe you guys can say it. Was like, how can we help out? You know what I'm saying?
I think the best thing to do is donate money. I don't think any of us are going to be like crawling over the like. I do have, like, I don't even have any fire experience at all, right? But like none of us are going to be crawling over there and putting out fire, right?
Yeah,
like they're not. You have to have training and stuff to do that. So
I think just donate what you can to one of the organizations that are helping out with Australia.
That being said, there actually have been cyber attacks on the yeah, I know, it's terrible.
Really?
On some of I know on some of the organizations that are helping with Australia.
Man, you can't even help a country without being freaking
robbed. Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's terrible.
Maybe you're not looking at the bigger picture.
What do you mean?
What are
Conspiracy
theory? Are you saying that the Australian fires
that's
were?
Not what I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm not much of a conspiracy theorist, though I do know that there has been a lot of talk about how Australia should have been doing pre-burn sooner, but I've also heard as a counter to that it's been too tried to do that safely. I'm not sure which side is right because I don't have all the information on that, but either way, it's a difficult situation.
It is, especially with how real climate change is right now. Because, so back in the day, they're like, oh, no, climate change is nothing. And that's, when...
We thought the world was too big for just puny little humans to affect.
Yeah, I think, a couple years after the motor industry kicked off, the carbon, the emissions that vehicles contribute to our air have been attacking the ozone layer, and so that allows, some of the heat from the sun to inside.
Well, and this stuff has been going on long before humans were even involved, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's a lot of talk about, that asteroid that wiped the dinosaurs out. Obviously, it didn't wipe out all life on Earth, or we wouldn't be here. But, there was a bit of a, are you familiar with nuclear winter?
Yeah.
There was a bit of a nuclear winter after that because there was so much dust and debris that the sun couldn't get to the plants, which killed herbivores, no herbivores kills carnivores, so... Yeah, it's kind of a mess, and fires and volcanic eruptions also heavily contribute. So on top of if this fire was caused by global warming, and it's difficult because there's always more than one cause.
Multiple variations.
Yeah, and so if this was caused by global warming, it actually is also heavily contributing to global warming because of the massive amount of CO2 emissions it's releasing.
So if we can piece them together, along with climate change, so a fire was started from a firefighter, right?
Well, so that's there was a bunch of fires, right? It's not one fire. Some of the fires have combined, but it's a bunch of different fires in different areas.
So one person was bored because, firefighter. So that was one fire, and then the rest of the fires may or may not be climate change or other people.
Yeah, there was lightning struck a bush and that started one of them, and there was an electrical box.
There's just too many variations.
Yeah, fire is tricky.
Collectively select one of those as the main reason there's just too much.
Yeah, it's too much in it.
Can you guys claim it's global warming? Because there's a lot of stuff going on, disasters. I think in the Philippines.
I think so. First of all, I'm not a scientist at all, but I don't like the term global warming. I like the term climate change. I think it's more realistic to what's happening.
So we'll just use climate change. So the disaster in Australia isn't the only thing that's going on right now. Mm-hmm. There's the climate change in California has been steadily increasing. Days have been getting hotter and hotter.
Yeah, but I think it's difficult because I do think humans are contributing to it, but I don't have enough information to know how much that I think we're contributing. Because look at this fire in Australia, the massive amount that it's doing. When Mount St. Helens blew up, that was a massive amount. So it's difficult to say. I think it's difficult to say how much humans are contributing. Versus, I'm sure you could sit down and do the math, but I personally haven't done it. So
it'd be too much math.
That'd be a lot of math.
I kind of want to go back on that contributing part though, or I want you guys to, because you remember the chapel that was burned down, Notre Dame, I think. One of the chapels.
I just had the name. I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, the Sistine Chapel. Fun fact, I've been there. So.
I was saying when that burnt down, everybody was flocking to pitch in money in, that. But it's when I heard about this. There's no news story about it. No.
I think it's been on the news.
I have not seen anything about the news on it.
I've seen quite a bit of it.
I've seen Facebook posts, Twitter posts, Instagram posts.
Well, I think that these days that is don't want to say that is the
news.
I'd say it's the news. I think any platform that distributes information to the people could be we're a news group and we're just a podcast, right? We distribute information to people, right? Any form of distributing information. Though I guess at that point you could say text messaging is news. So
yeah, that's a muscle.
I don't know. I don't think it's that dry and cut.
Oh, I don't know. I just want to see why everyone wants to go support the Sistine Chapel when the whole country out here losing this animal, losing this nature.
I think both is important. I'm a huge nature freak. I love being outside. Yeah, but at the same time, the Sistine Chapel is a huge piece of history. So I think both are important.
But I think I'd rather save animals rather than a history.
Same here, but...
Because, there's a building.
And then there's actual life. And there's been human life that's been lost in this too. It's not even just animals.
So I'd rather weigh more on the life than a piece of history. I know it's significant, but is it significant enough to ignore life? I don't think so.
I don't think there are many people. I'm sure there's some weirdos out there, but I don't think there's very many people that are ignoring what's going on in Australia. I think it's kind of hard to ignore a fire that is supposedly the size of Great Britain or something like that.
Damn.
Yeah, it's crazy. And again, it's not one fire, it's a bunch of fires, but if you combine the size. But, every time you hear a statistic like that, it changes because just the nature of fire and how it spreads. Like, some of it will have been burned out and it's no longer on fire, but some of it will spread. So it's really hard to keep track of stuff like that.
The random card.
The random what?
The random card of natural disasters.
Yeah.
On top, along with lightning, since lightning can strike anywhere.
Well, I mean, I don't think. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if lightning, like striking something that's already on fire, is going to make that much of a difference. But yeah, I could hit somewhere else.
Well, the thing is with
another
lightning,
fire.
It only strikes once, but it can strike pretty hard.
I'm pretty sure there's actually evidence that lightning can strike more than once.
In the same spot?
Yeah.
Okay then, never mind.
More fires are probably going to happen, as terrible of a thing that is to say. There's a lot of predictions that the fires are actually going to get worse, not better.
Nope.
You disagree?
No. I'm agreeing to what you just said, but I just said...
Oh, you're saying it's bad?
Nope, that they're not stopping.
Oh, yeah, I totally forgot to mention that it's not even just the firefighters. Like, they're pulling out reservists for their military and everything to help out with this. I'm sure they probably have some, like, random person they grabbed off the street that's helping out, too. Like,
it's like, hey, do you know anything about saving animals? A little. All right, come with us.
And, you see the things on, like, Facebook and all that, and then it's just, like, a bunch of, like, baby kangaroos in some random dude's car.
How could you ignore kangaroos or koalas? Like, the koalas especially.
Well, I know, can't kangaroos get, like, 10 feet tall or something, like, ridiculous like that? Like, I don't think I'm putting more than 2 of those in my car.
When they square up in front of you, like, bro.
Yeah, I'm not going to mess with that,
bro,
man. If that man wants to die in the fire, I probably can't do much to stop him. Like, I'm sure there's some veterinary experts or zoologists or someone down there that's helping out with that. But
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, maybe you should just tranquilize him, because I don't think you're gonna wrestle that guy down.
Nah, have you seen Kangaroo Jack?
Anyways, I think that's pretty good for this episode, guys. So, well, thank you so much for coming in, Jesus.
Yeah. Okay. As serious as it is, though, but I thank you for inviting me to.
Oh yeah, this topic. I wish I had a happier ending, but. It's still going on, so.
Just all we could do is just if you want to help,
donate. Just try not to get like cyber attacked.
Yeah, just make sure.
Do your research.
Yeah, before you give out your information, make sure you do your research. Reach out to the organization to make sure that, like, hey, is this your email? Is this you want everything solid before you know.
Yeah, don't be dumb. It's not smart.
Here's my number.
Yeah.
CVS
By the way,
code.
here's my social security number, just in case you're wondering.
Yeah, so just be careful out there.
Yeah, don't actually do that. Thank you, guys. Good night. Good whatever it is. What time you're listening to this. Have a good one. This is Tyler. Peace out.
Peace out, bro. Peace out, bro.